Hello everybody, Mannix here. Got a little ballistic gel test video for you here today, right here, right now. But first, as always, feel free to subscribe at that little bell notification if you do not want to miss weekly knife and gun videos, as always. We're going to be going to the range with our Glock 42, happens to be a 380 ACP, and our Taurus 8.56 concealed hammer snub nose revolver, chambered in 38 Special. We'll just roll in a picture right here because I currently no longer own that handgun. But I promise you, I did use it. Yes, I'm making this video after I already got the test results. Today, we're gonna be testing the Hornady Critical Defense 380 Auto 90 grain FTX. According to their box, they claim it has a muzzle velocity of 1,000 FPS, and this gun happens to have a 3.25-inch barrel. We're also going to be firing Winchester SilverTip 85 grain 380 Auto out of this same gun, also apparently having a 1,000 FPS muzzle velocity. I no longer have those rounds on me, but here. Picture right there. So both the Hornady Critical Defense and the Winchester SilverTips are rated at 1,000 FPS. Main difference being the bullet style. Obviously, these Hornadys got the FTX bullets, and the Winchesters have what they call their SilverTip bullets, and they happen to be 5 grains lighter than these. So if anything, our Hornadys should perform a little better, but we'll see. And out of our Taurus 8.56, we're going to be firing another Hornady Critical Defense round, 38 Special+P, 110 grain FTX with a muzzle velocity rated at 1,090 FPS. Considerably heavier, slightly faster, according to the box anyway, but out of a snub nose and this Taurus 8.56 concealed hammer happening to have a 2.1-inch barrel. So a 1.4-inch shorter barrel in comparison to our Glock. And just for giggles, we're also going to be firing these Fiatchi 22LR copper-plated hollow points rated at 1250 FPS. And we're going to be firing it out of a Henry Mare's leg. Completely different gun, not even a handgun, although technically I think it's a handgun by legal standards. We're going to be firing these out of a 12.88-inch barrel. I'm just curious to see how 22 hollow points are going to do out of a barrel of that length. So let's head on to the range. About 7.5. About 8.25 inches. Just about to 10 1/4. So it looks like our Winchester SilverTip 380 ACP made it to just about 7, 7.25, 7.5, something like that. Looks like it expanded really nicely. And then our Hornady 380 got just a little bit further, just about under 8 inches. And then finally, our Hornady 38 Special beat both of them. Looks like we got just about maybe 10.25, 10.5. Oh, there it is.
Considering it's 22.
Yeah. Got nice expansion there too, it looks like. Okay, so our results. As far as our Winchester SilverTips go, we got the lowest penetration of about 7.5 inches out of our Glock 42 with a 3.25-inch barrel. Now, all 4 of these projectiles expanded really well, actually. I'm especially impressed with these Winchester SilverTips. A massive, massive expansion, especially for a 380, but pretty unimpressive penetration. If you're not familiar, the minimum, I mean the bare minimum penetration you want to get out of FBI 10% ballistic gel is 8 inches, and we just barely did not reach that length. Now, ideally, you'd be reaching 12 inches. What this means is if you were to shoot through a dude's arm, a side shot, into their arm, through their arm, and into their thoracic cavity inside their chest, get into a vital spot in there and drop them. That's what the 12-inch rule means. 8 inches is if you were to shoot that person head on, not a side angle, not a weird angle, just literally head on to their chest or perhaps maybe in their back, let's say. 8 inches supposedly is enough to stop them with head-on shots. 12 inches is enough to stop them from all angles. So 12 is what you want to get typically, because then you know it's going to work pretty much in all conditions, a lot more reliably anyway. Not making any promises, this is just according to the FBI. But again, our Winchesters did not even make it to 8. So does that mean they're never going to work? Not necessarily. I mean, they're expanding a lot. I would not want to get shot by that. That's going to hurt like hell. It's going to cause some pretty hefty damage, but I can't say that's a reliable 380 round to use out of a gun like this anyway. I mean, maybe if you had a longer 380 auto, I'd say probably it would work. Just get that, just a 1-inch longer barrel perhaps, and then maybe you'll just barely reach that 8-inch mark. And then from head-on shots, back shots, it should work. Again, impressive expansion. Those Winchester SilverTips are pretty notorious for under-penetrating, but having very high expansion. I believe it has to do with the bullets themselves, the projectiles. Now, moving on to our Hornady Critical Defense 380s, the 90 grain, just 5 grains more, allegedly going at the same velocity. We got slightly better penetration, about 8 inches, about a half an inch more than the Winchester SilverTips. So out of even a short 380 handgun like this, these just barely got the job done. We actually reached the 8-inch minimum. So I can say, head-on shots, these should work at least most of the time. Can't make any promises. You never know what the situation's going to be. You never know what your attacker is going to be wearing. I can't promise any of that stuff. I cannot predict any of that stuff. None of us know what's actually going to happen in these types of situations. But according to the FBI ballistic gel test, allegedly, these should just barely get the job done with head-on shots. But neither this nor the Winchester SilverTip made it to the 12-inch mark, so you can't reliably stop threats from all angles with these, according to these test results. But again, I'm going to say these did a little bit better than the Winchesters, just because we got that extra half an inch of penetration. Now moving on to our 38 Special+Ps, 110 grains, going at a slightly faster velocity. I didn't test the velocities on these. I don't have a chronograph that can do that, but I'd assume it's probably going about the same speed as these out of a 2.1-inch barrel, more or less, but we have a significantly heavier weight on top of either of them. So it makes sense that we just got better results. We reached about 10.25 inches with these. So over 2 inches deeper than the previous 2 rounds we fired out of the Glock 42. Now, we still didn't reach the 12-inch mark with these, but I can say they're going to be a lot more reliable than either of the 380s we tested today, because they're simply just penetrating further and they are heavier. Our winner so far is the Hornady Critical Defense 38 Special+P FTX in 110 grains. As for our giggle rounds here, the Fiachi Field Dynamics copper-plated hollow points, 22 LR, allegedly going at 1250 FPS, probably a little less than that out of a mare's leg. I'm assuming these are tested out of full-length 22 LR rifles, not mare's legs, but regardless, we actually got almost identical penetration that these Hornady Critical Defense 38 Special+Ps got, although we have a significantly lighter weight, obviously being a 2238 grains going up against 110 grains, basically a third of the weight of the 38 Special+Ps. So they're not going to be as effective, but we did actually get adequate penetration, at least going past the 8-inch mark. So what this means, if you happen to be firing 22 LR copper-plated hollow points of this brand out of a mare's leg rifle, and you fired at your attacker head on, you'd probably get the job done if you can aim well. If you got them in a vital spot, yeah, they'd probably work. But again, from all angles, through the arms, etc., probably not. So what's the consensus of all 4 of these rounds here? Other than the Winchester SilverTips, all 3 of them should work with head-on shots, but all 4 of them apparently will not generally work from all angles. Now, minus the mare's leg specifically, we are firing these out of subcompact handguns. These are tiny little guys. They're all meant for concealment, for being lightweight. I would say all of these are actually fine for being subcompact. There's only so much you can really ask for in a subcompact handgun. If you're expecting full-on reliability through arms and through heavy clothing and so on, you're kind of asking a little bit much, I think, for a subcompact. Subcompacts are kind of get-off-me guns, and I'd assume most of the time anyway, again, we can't really plan for this stuff, but if somebody's on you, I mean like right on you, and you're really close to them, That's when these guns really come into play. They're not for getting in a gunfight in a parking lot or across a yard or something, although obviously you can do that with these guns. They're just not really specialized for that stuff, pretty much. The only one I'm disappointed with really is the Winchester SilverTips. I would not bother with those out of a subcompact 380. Now again, if you step up to a longer barrel 380, yeah, those will probably be fine, but even then, I still think there's better rounds you can pick. I just personally would not bother with those Winchester SilverTips. The penetration is just too damn low, I think, but these just barely are getting the job done, and then a 38 Special of this variety will do better, but we're still not getting 12-inch penetration with any of these. And hey, if you have a mare's leg, you got these 22s, they'll probably work head on. So anyway, that's what you get today. Thank you so much for watching. Do you have any of these rounds? Do you carry any of these rounds? Or do you carry something completely different and you've seen even better results out of those, out of 380s or 38 Specials or even 22s? Let me know in the comments down below. It's always interesting to hear what you guys have to say, and I always learn something from you. Thank you so much for watching. Mannix out.